Free shaping is a way of just capturing any behaviors and marking and rewarding it and hoping your dogs do it again. Here I have got just a little feed bucket, and this is the first time Chaos has ever done this. I actually have never done this with him, any type of free shaping at all, and he's actually never seen these buckets before. So as you noticed, I walked out. I purposely put that in this video that I walked out and I put the bucket on the ground, because when you start this, you really want your dog to start doing this as soon as your dog interacts with the object. So I am literally just clicking and trading for him, looking at it, looking in it, anything like that. And if you notice, I am staring directly at the object. If you are to stare at your dog, they're going to stare back at you. And this is actually really hard for Chaos. He's 9 months old. I'm not telling him what to do. I'm trying not to have any body signals that tells him what to do. All I'm doing is using the click and tossing treats away and trying to really mark those quick little behaviors of him interacting with that bucket. This can go on for a while, and that's okay. I want to make sure that he is not frustrated. I want to make sure I don't get frustrated. So if he continues to look at it a lot, then I will maybe step up my criteria. Here you'll see him sit, and this is his default. He says, I should probably sit. I maybe might get something for that. And I can tell he's getting frustrated because he's going to walk around. So what I'm going to do is I am going to reward him for just slightly looking at it here in a minute. He may lay down. Yeah. And so him laying down is his way of saying, I really don't know what you want. So I'm going to kind of try to get him up. There we go. And I will click and I'll treat for him just doing something super easy to get him back in the game. So like I said, this can go on for a while. I will up the criteria. I will lower the criteria based on his what he's doing and making sure he's not frustrated. If you notice a while ago, he actually stuck his nose in there farther, and he's really kind of got the hang of it now. He's like, oh, I'm supposed to look in there. So I'm going to keep playing around with this, and you can tell he's really trying to figure something out. Like I said, this can be frustrating for your dog, so just take easy little steps. I actually did this for 6 minutes. I should have probably done it a lot smaller amount of time. I also did this after we had a huge training session, so I really wouldn't recommend that. So he's going to continue just to look. He doesn't know exactly what he's supposed to do. And honestly, I'm just waiting for him to do anything. If he was to bump it with his nose, bite at it, flip it over, bark at it, walk around it, I technically could reward for that. But I really am wanting him to fully interact with this little bucket. And there goes his default again. So I'm just tossing a treat just to get him up. I don't want him to lay down. That's not the purpose of this. And then he just randomly puts his foot in it, which I don't care. So I reward him for that. And we're going to turn this into, okay, let's see if we can get our feet in it. So he does this on his own. I'm not telling him to do this. I am not cueing him with any body language, any sort of noises, anything like that. And he's just figuring this out on his own. And because I am clicking and treating when he does it, it's rewarding for him. So he's going to keep doing it. So we've kind of now got a different criteria. Instead of looking at it or putting your nose in it, all right, can you stick your feet in it? And since he's doing his front 2 feet, I'm going to roll with that. And we'll see kind of what he does next. He says, does my nose work this time? Oh, nope. Does a sit and a down work this time? Nope, not so much. So if I feel like he gets stuck, then I'll kind of encourage him to get up and try again. There you go. He really likes to be told what to do. And it is easier for him if I tell him what to do. So I don't blame him, but at the same time, I really want this to be a thinking game for him. I want him to realize he can do anything he wants, and I will reward him for being creative, basically. This can be pretty hard for some dogs, but it can also be very constructive for some dogs. They will start to play around with their environment, and that's what I really want for Chaos to do. The cool thing is you can also use any object. It does not have to be a bucket. It could be anything, a toy, a hamper. It could be something outside. It does not matter what it is, as long as it's safe for the dog and safe for the object. So we're going to continue. He's going to continue to play around with this with his front feet. I think at one point he does get a back foot in there on accident. Yeah, there it is. And I'll have to do a lot more sessions with him to realize that he can put his back feet in there purposefully. He still doesn't have very good hind end awareness. So he knows he's supposed to do something. So he'll put his feet in there and he'll look at me. Now, instead of me tossing it, I'm going to start feeding him at the bucket. I want to see if that kind of keeps him there. And this is totally just a preference of whether you toss it or feed him at the bucket. Sometimes tossing it gets him to go away. And sometimes when you give it to him there, it teaches him to stay in that position. To be honest, I probably should have stopped him around this point, but I was kind of excited that he was still going. And you can tell he's starting to get kind of tired. He understands the game. He says, step in, step out, step in, step out. There's a few times he thought about putting his back feet in, but I don't think he really got the hang of that. He's doing a pretty good job for a dog that's never done this before ever. He definitely knows that his feet are what does something. If you notice, he just put his front right foot in, so I didn't reward that. I am waiting purposely for 2 front feet because he's been doing that consistently. At this point, I can tell he's kind of starting to get done, so I kind of play with it. He says, I'll just do 1 foot. He says, I'll just do 1 foot again, so I'm just making it easy so he gets back in the game. There you go. We've got 2 feet right now. And I think I'm going to go ahead and call it good at this point just because I can tell he's bored with it. And I want to make sure we end on a good note. I want to make sure it's fun for him. Always make sure you praise, and then always make sure you pick up the object afterward as well.